it is suggested that it is a medicine for the person. I am very happy when I saw this heading for the first time, because that is one of the very keynotes of homeopathic philosophy. The difference between treating a person and curing a disease, though it may not sound much difference at first, it makes all the difference. And in fact, the difference marks the dawn of the new age, when for the first time Hahnemann made the difference. In his very first aphorism of Organon, he has made the difference that the pious duty of the doctor is to heal the sick persons, which does not mean to cure diseases. So he made the difference very much in the very first aphorism. I will try to find out the difference according to his other aphorisms. We have two approaches from the doctors. One is to cure a disease, and the other is to cure a person. The over-specialization of the first branch of science through about 2 centuries. Now it has left us in a state of chaos about medical science, because now we have only the science of diseases and their cure more being taught in the medical colleges, and the real science of health has become less and less. In fact, it is the science of health that we need more than the science of disease and its cure. The very concept has become negative when we make a medical student prepared through 5 or 6 years, spending almost all his time in understanding what is disease, so that he has no time to understand what is the human constitution. At the end of 5 or 6 years, he begins to treat the disease without remembering the person having the disease. Then the next evil is the evil of over-drugging, when we begin to hunt diseases without remembering the persons. We try to use as many medicines as there are sufferings in the person. If the person complains about headache, there is the aspirin and its products. If he has acidity, there are antacids. If he has arthros, he has a third set of medicines. Like that, for each group of sufferings, we have to discover a group of medicines and bombard the diseases with medicines. Shoot at the trouble with the medicine, forgetting that the shots are received by the person, not the disease. Every time we shoot a medicine like a bullet into a constitution, it is the constitution that is receiving the shock and not the disease. You know the story of a great hero who had a panel of his heroism before his gate. He said, "I killed 7 at one stroke." The fact was, one day he has thrown a cloth upon the table and 10 flies died. And he has written as his heroism that he killed 10 at one stroke. Then again he had some flies on his face the next day, and he hit a big hammer to his head, and the flies went away, the hammer gave blow to his head. That is what happens when we aim medicines at diseases. So, the fundamental truth is there is nothing like disease separately existing. There are only some sensations produced in the name of disease, and we have some sufferings. And behind that there is the abnormality of behavior, which reflects upon the misbehavior towards food, drink and sleep, and reflects upon the daily habits. So the daily habits are distorted from natural way of doing things. For example, instead of enjoying taste to fulfill our appetite, we try to eat to enjoy taste even after the appetite is filled. Such a distortion occurs in the mind, and that distortion causes abnormalities in the behavior of the person. These abnormalities put together form the real cause of the disease, whereas the sufferings we have from a disease are only consequences of our misbehavior and also indicators that there is something wrong in our behavior. Hahnemann for the first time explained that the sufferings in a disease are messengers to report to us that there is something wrong. Then what happens if we administer medicines for sufferings? If I am having terrible headache, that indicates that there is something wrong going in the constitution. But if I think that the blood vessels in the head are congested and that is the cause of the headache, and I fancy that I have discovered the cause of headache, and I use such medicines which dilate the blood vessels in the head. I am using medicine only for the headache and understanding the cause of the disease in a false way. Suppose I had no sleep for 3 nights continuously. I had horrible headache. It is true that the blood vessels are congested in the head, but it is only the immediate cause of the sensation of headache, and it is not at all the cause of something wrong in us. The real cause exists in the fact that I did not sleep for 3 days. I was taking part in the game of bridge for 3 nights, and 4th morning I had headache. The very kind nature in our constitution, who is very benevolent, only wants to point out that if such a thing continues, it is not possible for life to continue in this vehicle. So to indicate we have what is called headache, I take 3 aspirin. The headache is removed. If I call it cure, can it be true? Because on the 4th and 5th days also, if there is another game, I will go and attend it without sleeping. If I have medicines to remove the headache immediately, I go on removing the headache and attending the playing cards in the nights. But since you and I do not know what law is governing us from the background nature, because we are not patient enough to listen to its message, something happens and we go into unconsciousness, removed to the hospital. For about 3 or 4 months, complete catalepsy. and luckily recovered. What does this indicate? It indicates that nature suspended the work of your mind so that you may not attend the playing cards anymore for at least some months. And the immediate danger is removed. And if we can learn the lessons from nature, the mystic language of nature, we take care that we do not repeat the mistake. Because we come to understand the fifth proposition of Hahnemann. That is, the real disease exists in the abnormalities of behavior. Unless there is an abnormal way of behavior, I cannot afford to lose my sleep for the sake of bridge for 3 days. Whether we accept it or not, it is simple common sense. And nature has no compromise with our fancies. We have to compromise with nature if at all we want to be healthy and happy. Nature has no reason to make any compromise with us because it always wants us to be better. Nature is essentially positive in producing the mind and its law, the senses and their law, the sensations and the thoughts and their law, and the forces that are working in the body, and the law that governs the forces, and the tissues in the physical body, and the biochemistry of the tissues, and the law that governs the biochemistry of the tissues. At every step there is the law as our background, which has no business to make a compromise with us, because it has no business to compromise with ignorance. We have to understand law and be better. So Hahnemann first of all warns us, it is the person who is to be cured and not the disease. There is nothing like disease having a separate existence in us. There is only what is called the natural condition, natural state of functioning of the mind, senses, the forces in the body, and the tissues of the body. And as long as the functions are normal, we enjoy the peace, comfort and happiness, the totality of which we call health. So health is not something different from ourselves. If we maintain things according to the law governing us, happiness and comfort will be always with us until a few moments before we naturally leave this physical body. That is the signature of true health. That is the first proposition Hahnemann tells us. I will just make a note of these things so that you may understand. We can understand the human constitution mainly in 3 layers. We have the physical body made up of matter, which means a bundle of chemical actions. And then there is another plane called force, which is making every cell of your body move. The first aspect has only structures. So matter deals with the various structures of our constitution, whereas force deals with the functions of each structure. And there are 2 types of functions mainly. One voluntary. Voluntary functions are those which we do with our own intentions. If we walk, it is voluntary function. If we talk, if we see, if we hear, if we hold some baggage in the hand, this is all voluntary functions which are less important. But our ignorance makes us feel that they are more important. Involuntary group of functions are really more important. For example, respiration. If we have to attend the function of marriage when we are not conscious of our respiration, we are only conscious of the program marriage, conscious of the program, then if we are to conduct the respiration also along with the voluntary functions, then it is most likely that we forget about our respiration because we are engaged in the thoughts of the marriage function. The result is there is no possibility of attending marriage at all. Respiration stops and the fellow falls down and dies. Similarly, heartbeat, circulation. These are the functions which are making us live. And these are the functions which we are doing. So there are two types of functions. The functions we do and the functions done in the Constitution. Done not by us. Someone inside his will. We can call him by the same name we have. But we are definite that it is not this same fellow who is doing. And we have a third layer of this. You can call it consciousness. It has all the layers of what we call the mind, including the intellect, the recollection, functions of the senses, understanding, logic. All these things are like many layers in the third layer. When everything is in perfect order, the first item makes the steering of the second item. That is, the consciousness drives the forces in the Constitution, and the forces make the body function. That is what is called the natural state, which is felt and experienced by us, and which is the real meaning of the word health. If a doctor certifies that you are healthy and that you are fit to join your profession once again, that may be a certificate to join the profession, but about your health or ill health, the doctor is not the standard, you are the standard. Just as I have no right to say that you are hungry or you are not hungry, you are thirsty or you are not thirsty, and you are weak or fatigued or you are strong. You are to tell me if you are fatigued or strong. You are to tell me if you are having appetite or not. Similarly, health is something which you know and you should know, and whether you are healthy or not. Don't take the certificate of others into consideration. You are the person who should decide and tell the doctor. You say you are suffering from insomnia. If you go to a specialist and if he makes all tests and assures you that nothing is wrong with you, that's not correct. You know you are suffering from insomnia. And if the doctor certifies that nothing is wrong with you, the decision belongs to the doctor, not the patient. So, if everything is going in the normal direction, when the one is governing the two, when the three is governed by the two, that is called a healthy government. let it be in a country or a constitution. And when such a natural condition is occurring in your constitution, you should know by the comfort and the happiness you experience, and not the certificate or opinion of anyone. If you feel every part of your body comfortable, and if you feel happy even after walking or talking or going up, and after sleeping and after waking up, if you find everything comfortable, then you understand that everything is going right in your constitution. If you find something different from this, understand that there is something wrong. Even after a long sleep of 6 or 7 hours, if you feel very much tired and exhausted and not refreshed, so that you may not be able to get up from the bed, understand something is unnatural, something is wrong. And if during daytime, if you feel sleepy and drowsy, so that wherever you sit, you go into sleep, but immediately understand something is abnormal. And if your mind likes to make you eat without timings, if it feels the taste of something out of time, or something out of taste, something which is not good for taste, or develops a taste for things which are not tasty, then there is something wrong in the constitution. These are all what are called the abnormalities of behavior. According to homeopathic philosophy, disease exists in the abnormalities of behavior, and unless these abnormalities are found rectified, the disease is not cured. And even if the physical body is temporarily healed, if I cure the pain in the wrist for about a month or 2 months, if my mental abnormalities are not cured, if I do not feel mentally better and comfortable, I can be sure and the doctor can be sure that it repeats once again. Arthros, when cured in one joint, it goes to the other. Constipation, if it is cured with some purgatives or laxatives, again there is constipation after a few days. Because the abnormalities of behavior are not rectified. You can ask me, is it possible to rectify abnormality? It is here that a great secret is brought to earth by the founder of homeopathy. We are made to believe ignorantly that our wrong thinking is due to our wrong understanding. If a person is too much irritable, we also grow irritable with him because we find something defective in his behavior. If there is a person having deceitful tendencies, bluffing instinct, or kleptomaniac tendencies, we punish the child without knowing that it is a disease. Unless there is something wrong basically in the constitution, unless there is something wrong fundamentally, there cannot be a misbehavior in a person. Many times we attribute these things to the environment and friendships. But if two children are brought in the same environment by the same parents, one becomes a sincere and good boy and the other one becomes a kleptomaniac. We are observing such cases. You can never attribute them to environment or training totally. There is some effect in the training. Something good or something bad may come out of the training. But it cannot radically change the nature of a person at all. Just as you can add some chemicals in the agricultural chemistry and make the crop more healthy and yield more strong. But you can't change you can't bring a total change. Similarly, your good training may encourage the good traits of a boy, and ignorance in training may encourage the wrong aspects of a boy. But the seeds for good and bad are there in the constitution by birth. Herein lies what Hahnemann calls disease. He calls it disease because it can be cured. And it is cured and verified again and again. It is the experience of all the homeopaths, at least many of them, that kleptomaniacs are totally cured of their mental disease, and psychosomatics are totally cured. Bluffers and cheats and deceits are totally cured. Nobody can deny this after the discovery of homeopathy. And this proves that all these are diseases. When something is cured with medicine, it must be disease and nothing else. So, when the order is reversed, when something is wrong in the constitution, you will find that the matter conditions the forces in the body, and the forces condition the mind and distort the mind of its natural condition. And the result is we will have abnormalities of behavior. This is one aspect of homeopathy. We will go to the next aspect, which is equally important. If a patient comes and complains that he is having stomachache, in homeopathy there is no medicine. If he complains, I am having headache,